The timeless theme is an encouragement for us to dig into the past, to make it relevant for the present, and also potentially relevant to the future. One quote, "History doesn't repeat itself, but it rhymes." And that's where the motivation for this Mindshare experience comes.
Which is also 3D, which is super awesome. So when we watch this back later in a VR headset, it'll feel like you're like sitting in the middle. A little bit of playtime, a little bit of experience, a little bit of fun time. See what's going on.
One experience of play can be really helpful in transforming the well-being of ourselves, our communities, but even potentially transformation in the world. And see how that feels by putting your foot on the dowel in different ways. So all of a sudden the foot and the way the brain and the foot communicates is stimulated in new ways. We've taken off our shoes to return to a sensitivity and a receptivity at the foot. And then what we can do is we can bring one foot on the dowel and just see, can I shift my weight there and maybe just balance on the toe of the other foot? And what does that feel like?
We learn more from each other than you would be learning just from me. Or if you went to just go see Will one-on-one or Lauren one-on-one. We learn, it's about that collective learning. So let's learn and let's move. So what I want you to do, feel what are you feeling in your foot, your hips, your adductors, the obliques, deep inside.
All of the things that can come from this physically are also benefiting us mentally too, because through the motion of crawling, this cross-patterning, we're getting both sides of our brain to fire at one time. So the efficiency of the connection between the right and left hemisphere becomes that much stronger and that much more effective. And so all of a sudden, all you've been doing is crawling, but you're noticing that creative part of your mind is getting more brought to the future. Or even in settings like this, where you're listening to people speak,
and so now let's think about quality. Let's not think about more within the circle. Let's think about doing more with less. And so the conversation I want to bring you to is breath work. This is our most efficient space. This is where we're still aerobic. We're using and burning fat as a fuel source. If you can stay here and play here in all of your training, that's amazing. Keep on going.
If we look at a movement as a problem or a symptom as a problem, it already triggers a sense that is a simple solution to it, but it's not. Most of the issues people are having is a dilemma. Like a lot of times, like, you know what, I know there's like some clinicians here. People want a solution to a life problem. If you're going through a nasty divorce, I don't care how much exercise you're doing, right? It's not gonna help you. I think that that's one of the things that we all sort of miss when it comes to really be able to see, can we really approach the right answer, the right solution to the right problem?
They say good things come to those who wait, but I believe that greater things come to those who go out and get it. And the last thing is perseverance. Perseverance equals resourcefulness, and the definition of resourcefulness is the ability to find quick and clever ways to overcome difficulties. Being resourceful versus focusing on this lack of resources will take you further in the long run. If we're constantly thinking of, I don't have this and I don't have that, you will constantly live in that space of, I don't have. So focus on what you do have. If one person showed up to your class today, amazing. One person showed up to your class today, and maybe tomorrow will be 2, and then it'll be 12.
What moves people? What drives people? What are people concerned with, and what do they dream of? Life, death, family, love, money, health. These are things that are really, really important to people. So when you're constructing your talk or your presentation, think about that. And with what you're saying, the high-stake moments, also infuse it with emotion, with your hands and your face and your voice. Show the emotion in the way that you are delivering it. Because, as we said before, emotion equals better recall. But there's one problem that comes with high stakes. And what is that?
Fast forward a couple years, I started learning some lessons. And one of them was, And I love that we talked about kids today and play, because I believe kids teach us more wisdom than we can ever teach them knowledge.